victory. I just got another victory. Opposition said they sick of me. We turn their future to history. They try to hit me, they missing me. Ooh, they in the way. They getting stepped on back in the day. We who they slept on. You see my place. It's never.
Yes, what up, Knicks Nation? Welcome back to the Sheer Brilliance Knicks channel. A lot of energy this morning. Payback is a dish best served cold. Okay, ugly or not, the dubs count. The dubs count here on the East Coast. Dubs count. Okay, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it today. All right, a little bit hyped. Probably shouldn't have taken that caffeinated drink, but it's all right. It's okay. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. I want to welcome you back to the Sheer Brilliance Knicks channel. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I salute you. Do me a favor. Click that like button. Click that subscribe button. Run up the thumbs up. Okay? This content is for you and anybody else who's a friend of basketball. All right? Join the SB community, the Sheer Brilliance community. We roll deep. Okay? And we're ready to dominate, not only for 2023, but beyond. Okay? So I'm going to welcome you to my channel, SB Community. If you are returning, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get focused. 3 game winning streak. Let's go. We're here to talk about it. You know we roll deep. I want to thank you for supporting. Always from the ground up to the top. Welcome back. Now, you know you can also have those people who celebrate you, those people who support you, those people who love what you do, the commonalities between us that connect us. You can't just have those people if you don't have the haters. I see you. I see you in the comment section. After the live goes up, watching the video, looking the moves. Guess what? You rocking with the best too, okay? Welcome, friend or foe. We want the smoke, and the smoke is exactly what we're bringing today, courtesy of the New York Knicks beating the San Antonio Spurs last night. Yes, the revenge tour is upon us. In Toronto, you're next. You are next. I know I'm yelling with the Denzel hand, okay? You want next, Toronto, but we're going to get into it. And you know, there's no other way that we celebrate Knicks victories here on the Sheer Brilliance channel other than having Knicks Deli Edition. Knicks Deli Edition, okay? If you're new to the channel, you're watching the video for the first time, Knicks Deli Edition is what we do after every Knicks victory, okay? And it's centered around the New York Deli, okay? If you're from New York, you know the vibe. If you've never been to New York and you're trying to get there, one of the things you're required to do is go to a deli. Or depending on where you are, go to a bodega. It's either a deli or a bodega that you go to. It's a fixture of New York culture, okay? And when you do, there are 4 things on this Knicks Deli that are on the menu. Okay, more things on a regular deli menu, but for Knicks Deli, there's only 4 things on the menu. 1 is the bacon, egg, and cheese. Okay, that's that thing that's a staple in New York. You gotta go to a deli and you gotta order you a bacon, egg, and cheese. Okay, and when you go there, you can't say, you know, hi, excuse me, can I get a bacon, egg, and a cheese on a roll, salt, pepper, mayo? You can't do that. They'll kick you out. That's disrespectful. You gotta go in there and be like, yo, what up, Pop? Okay. Let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. 1 word. Let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. This is drive-by. That's what you got to do. So when you go in there and you order the bacon, egg, and cheese, okay? Next thing on Knicks Deli's menu is the dollar slice. Everybody knows that New York has the best pizza in the world. Italy, Chicago, I don't care. California, that's not even pizza. Okay, New York has the best pizza in the world. And here at Knicks Deli, on the menu is the dollar slice. Okay, the dollar slice is on the menu. Okay, so here at Knicks Deli, the dollar slice is that thing that's stabilizing. Okay, who was the player of the game that was a stabilizing factor that helped us secure this victory? The bacon, egg, and cheese or who were the three ingredients that together made that thing bust? Okay, so we're going to look at that as well. Third on the menu here at Knicks Deli, it's the chopped cheese. Now, the chopped cheese is relatively new to the New York market, the New York menu, but that thing be busting. Okay, so we're going to look at who is the player that, had an impact on this game that just helped us secure this victory. All right. And then lastly, you can't have the chopped cheese. You can't have the dollar slice. You can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese if you don't have nothing to wash it down with. All right. So that is the quarter water. The quarter water is on the menu here at Knicks Deli. And that is the person that came in and contributed maybe in a small fashion, but it helped us get over the top. So who is the quarter water of the game here at Knicks Deli this morning? Okay. Then we're going to wrap it up with a segment that I call Nah Son Nah, You Wildin' Moment of the Game. Okay. And that's either something within the game, something around the game, whether it's before or after, a commentator, a topic, all right, that make you look at the screen sideways and say, nah, son, nah, you wildin'. Okay. So we're going to look at that moment of the day. Then we're going to take chat questions. I'm going to give you my partner thoughts. We're going to get you up out of here. Okay. Lunchtime. If you're watching, open that. We have a good time during your lunch break. If you're watching afterwards, let's go. Okay. Join the SB community. So we're going to dive into this thing. Hope your days are going well right now. Okay. The New York Knicks had a much needed revenge victory against the San Antonio Spurs. I was looking forward to this game. Okay. It's one of those games where we were underhanded and they punched us in the mouth. Those young boys came in, they ran us out of the Alamo. All right. So I don't know if we had just rolled in there expecting to win, even though we were shorthanded, but they reminded us that all teams in the NBA are NBA teams. So ultimately that get back had to be a necessity. And that get back was last night. Okay. So the New York Knicks beat the San Antonio Spurs 117-114 last night, bringing us to a 3-game winning streak. Okay. 3 games. Absolutely love it. We're back into this rhythm. We're working our way back. There were some pieces that'll probably have you a little bit concerned, but once again, it's a marathon and not a sprint. And those are things that we're aiming to work out throughout the season. Okay. So several things stood out, but before we dive in to the actual game, I usually do something here at Knicks Deli called Shear's Top 5. Top 5 dead or alive. Okay. And this is a top 5 for the top 5 SB community members. Okay. That I just want to give a shout out. So the top 5 today is 1, Wellflower. Shout out to you. 2, Kenneth Lane. Shout out to you. 3, Lord Cunningham. Let's go. 4 is Larry Love. And 5 is the Predicate. Shout out to you. She is top 5 today. All right. Top 5 dead or alive. Shout out to Jada Kiss. All right. So we're going to get into it once again, Knicks Deli style. All right. So it was a great night last night for these boys. Okay. Several of them stood out. Jalen Brunson wasn't available for last game. He was available for this one. He reminded everybody. So we're going to jump into it. Let's start out with our bacon, egg, and cheese, right? Who were the 3 players of the game that together made this thing bust and helped us get this victory? All right. So let me know who was your bacon, who was one of the first 3. My 3 bacon, egg, and cheese of the game are Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and Emmanuel Quickly. Those are the bacon, egg, and cheese. Let's start with Jalen Brunson. Okay. Jalen Brunson is my bacon of the game today. Last night he had a career high, 38 points. Had a career high. 1-on-1 in the last game, Mikal Bridges had said that he's the best 1-on-1 player in the league right now. It's that type of respect that's given from your opponents that is going to start putting us on the map. They know that there is no easy victory when you come into the New York Knicks arena or when you're facing New York on the calendar. There's no easy victories, okay? But Jalen Brunson wanted to make a statement last night, okay? Now, many of us who were watching the game, we're looking at that and say, okay, is that sustainable basketball? There were certain points where we were just like, all right, buddy, you need to get your teammates involved, all right? But I'm going to tell you what I was thinking. I'm thinking that Jalen Brunson was sitting on that bench in San Antonio, and he watched them young boys at the guards position come in and moonwalk all over the Knicks last game. When we went to San Antonio, they were walking all over us. I mean, hitting the mic joint, looking away, throwing their caps in the crowd. They were performing on us and our guards early. And you know that when Jalen Brunson was healthy, him and Randall set the tone for us in terms of our wins. They're the primary scorers early in the game that set the tone so that other players can come in, get in a rhythm, get through their sets, and be relaxed, contributing to what their roles are. We didn't have that when we were in San Antonio. So the young boys got out, and they thought that their fresh legs, and they were right, their fresh legs helped run it up. They were accurate. They were running us up and down the floor in San Antonio. So I could tell while watching this game, Jalen Brunson was like, not today, buddy. Let me show you what you were missing last game. Let me show you why this game is going to be a little bit different in terms of the outcome of last game. And he did that. Last game, we even fought to come back, but we just couldn't get over the top. We just couldn't hit timely shots. And that's what Jalen Brunson brings to the team. My Denzel again. That's what Jalen Brunson brings to the team. That is exactly what he brings to the team. And everybody in the league knows it now. Someone who is going to hit a shot in important moments of the game. 3-point shot, mid-range, drive, hit the layup. Struggling with the free throws right now, though. He's struggling with the free throws right now. He's frustrated, which I love, but it's a little bit concerning. You can be frustrated, but you got to improve it, okay? I'm no NBA player, so I can only talk about it. I know it's easier said than done, but he has to work on it, okay? So that's what Jalen Brunson brought last night. Jalen Brunson, 38 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists from the point guard position. Come on. From the point guard position. Do y'all hear that? 2 years ago when we had that magical run, it was magical. The city was lit. We had that run to the playoffs with the point guards that we had, and we still were on fire with that team. The bane of my existence was that our point guard production was nil. We couldn't score. We were no threat to score. That's why Atlanta spanked us, because there was no production from the point guard position other than Derrick Rose, who was playing his heart out coming off the bench. But we got that now. We got a point guard that they got to watch for at 6'1". At 6'1". There was people, there were people who doubt in bringing this man on, giving him that contract at 6'1". And he showed up and he showed out. But last night was a message to the Spurs. Not today. Not today. And it was close at the end of the game because that team is coached by a Hall of Fame player. And they got young talent. They got young dogs on their team. Their record is only what it is because they don't have experience. That young kid, Sohan, last game I looked at it, I'm like, yo, bro, you got the green hair, you got the number 10, you got the tight shorts. Everything you're doing is looking like Rodman now. Don't come with that look and that image and that likeness, name, image, likeness, if you ain't about that life. And last night he started off on Jalen Brunson. And that shows you a little bit about the Hall of Fame coaching. That shows you about the Hall of Fame coaching. Because the scouting report on Jalen Brunson seems to be put a player with long arms, tall player with long arms on him to guard him, defensive oriented, and disrupt him at least from penetrating the basketball, pressure him, and let's see how he does. He'd be putting him on skates though. He'd be putting him on skates. I love it. I love it. Now, I'm hoping that that's only reflective of that game, and that they try to remedy the style of play based on the opponent. If you watched the film last game, you knew what the areas of improvement needed to be. You needed to attack this team early. You needed to attack them with your strengths, your guard, your power forward, all right? Your height in terms of rebounding the basketball, okay? Defensive pressure so that You force them to make good decisions because they're inexperienced team. Those are the things that I'm thinking that the New York Knicks went into this game locked in on. But Jalen Brunson came in and he applied the pressure. He needed to hit his free throws. But Jalen Brunson, you are the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese. Let's go. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this after, put in here who was your bacon of the game. Who's one of the three that when put together were the perfect ingredients to help us secure this win. So shout out one more time for Jalen mother flipping Brunson. Next up is the egg. Who's the egg of the egg? The bacon, egg, and cheese. And that for me is Julius Randle. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care how lazy you may be. I don't care how lack of technology you may know, or if you don't have the time. We need to vote these two cats to the All-Star game. Okay? Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson. All right? If you follow me, I voted all five. I put Julius in there, RJ, Jalen Brunson, who else we got in the starter? Grimes. I put him in there, and Mitch. All right? I don't care. Other teams vote for their people. I voted for all my people. Forget KD. Okay? Vote these cats into the All-Star game. Okay? Julius Randle is on a tear. He is on a tear like he was in 2 years ago. All right? Some people are like, I think he was playing better than he was 2 years ago. I think he's getting there. At this point right now, I don't think he's playing as good as he was 2 years ago, only because he was hitting Kobe-esque type shots 2 years ago. I mean, people were draped all on him, draped all over him defensively, and he was hitting shots. He was hitting shots falling out of bounds. He kept drawing fouls and still hitting the shots. The number of and ones he had that season was crazy. But Julius Randle senses that he's in that zone, and you could tell it in his game. He's not necessarily rushing it. He only has points in time where he's forcing the game. All right. For the most part, he's allowing the game to come to him. Jalen Brunson couldn't have been a better prescription to whatever ailed Julius Randle. He couldn't have been a better prescription for Julius's sickness. He's taken the pressure off of him. He knows that there's somebody else who can carry the scoring burden so that he could just stay in his bag and pressure. And now that he sees the All-Star game in his sights, he's putting in an extra effort. The last victory that we had in the last minute, rushing down the floor on the defensive end to intercept the pass within the last minute, game already secured. He want to let people see I'm still working. My work isn't stopping until that buzzer goes off. This game, this man had 4 blocks. 4 blocks. Julius Randle. Defensive end is now being elevated to match the offense. 25 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks. Stat stuffer. If I was a fantasy basketball player, it'd be a wrap having Julius on the team. You got to start putting some respect on this man's name. He's back and the fans are back with him. I love it. A few days ago, I posted, a YouTube short of him interview Rebecca Harlow after the game. And she said, what's the best part of just this resurgence, this resurrection of the team and solid NBA basketball play? What's the best part of this experience for you? And he said, playing in Miss G in front of these fans. Crowd went crazy. That's what you do. My post said, that's how a big brother apologizes for what he did wrong to the little brother. He don't just come out outright and say, you know what, I'm sorry. My bad, man. I'm sorry. He lets you know, like, I know I messed up. But we're going to rock again. You can come in here and play PS5 with me again. You know, anybody who got little brothers or little siblings, you know how that is. You get them mad, but you know you love them. You got to find a way to kind of get them back in your good graces without having to apologize or prove, admit you were wrong. That's how you do it. Okay? That's what he did. So we back with him. right now, he's part of this formula, okay? And he's serious about winning. So in this game, man, Julius Randle really stepped up. He's just all over the place. He's all over the place in a good way. He did try to break out that spin. I think one time a game, he always tests that spin move. And every time I throw up a little bit in my mouth when he does. Last night, it ended up into a foul. So he was able to get away with, like, it would have worked if I hadn't got fouled. But he hit that spin move, and I be seeing it coming in slow motion. It's like I'm watching the TV, and I'm like, no. He's just like, yeah. I can't take it. I can't take that damn spin move. But Julius Randle is the egg of the game. Once again, this man had 25 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 4 blocks. What more can you ask for? He is probably in the top 5 of the power forwards playing the game right now in the NBA. He's looking like he's hitting his Enter the Dragon like glow, his super glow, the last dragon or whatever it was back in the day. He's hitting that Neo. He's starting to believe. You know, like you're like, what's happening? What's happening with Julius? Like he's starting to believe that at his position, there ain't nobody that can guard him. Kobe even said it, like that he's a grown-ass man. He was, as a rookie, he was playing like a grown-ass man. And when he realizes his skill set matches with the coaching and the right pieces around you, it's going to be a problem for the league. Right now, it's becoming a problem for the league. Julius Randle is in that space. He's going to be an all-star. Whether the fans vote him, his peers, or the coaches, Julius Randle will represent the New York Knicks in the all-star game. And alongside him will be Jalen mother-flipping Brunson, the bacon and the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese here in Knicks Deli this morning. Okay? Now we're going to look at who's the cheese of this sandwich. And the cheese is Emmanuel Quickley. Emmanuel Quickley had a good game last night. I don't have his stats up here. But I believe he had about maybe 15 points, 13, 15 points, something like that. Emmanuel Quickley, I don't need stats to talk about what he's been doing and contributing in this stretch. He's in a different space right now. For the most part, mostly, he's been efficient from shooting. Last night, I don't think he was. But I think last night, his impact was on the defensive end. And that's what you've been getting from Quick all season. A little bit of inconsistency, maybe a little bit up and down in terms of his scoring output. But it's what has remained stable is his defensive ability. And that was something coming out of Kentucky that a lot of people didn't talk about with Quick. If you watch his draft profile, his draft prospect profile, the man's coming from Kentucky. You got to play defense if you're playing for Calipari, first and foremost, all right? But the man coming from Kentucky, he's already at 6'3", 6'4", but he has long arms. He got those go-go gadget arms, all right? And he has that want, that desire to play defense. I'm going to get in your face. I'm going to disrupt you. I'm going to put my hand in your face. I'm going to compete and contest your shot. And when he steps on the floor, he has that as effervescent of a player as we know IQ to be. He got that dog in him. When he's on the other side of his opponent, he don't want to lose that contest. And I love that. But you could be as good of a spirit as you want, but when that person is in front of you, you make their life miserable. I can't wait for Obi to get back in the rotation and start up again, because I think that's something that he needs to get from IQ. He plays with the joy of the game, but when you got your opponent in front of you, you need to punish him. You need to punish him and let him know that when you coming down the floor with the ball, this ain't no easy matchup. And that's what IQ did last night, filling in the blanks. Hit a timely shot when you need to. Hit that floater. If that three-pointer ain't going down, penetrate, drive, hit that floater. I love how Tom Thibodeau was using him. He's using him interchangeably. He could play him with starters. He could play him with the bench. Tom Thibodeau said in a press conference the other night, I don't know what IQ is. He is an NBA player. He could play the point guard. He could play the two. I could mix him in with the starters. He could play up-tempo. He could play a slow game. He could hit the three-point shot. He could go in and hit the floater. His passing ability and his vision is improving. His setting up and his feel for the other players only comes when you keep players together and they become more familiar with each other's game. That doesn't happen in a season. It's an anomaly if it does. What happened in Toronto with Kawhi was a situation where you brought in a superstar. Superstars are superstars for a reason. They're going to be super in any environment. But the rest of that team, for the most part, was kept together. And their familiarity with each other, and you input a superstar into that sauce, that's what makes success. And that's the direction that the New York Knicks are heading in. You have a team who's been kept together for a number of years. They're starting to grow and mature into their NBA selves, into their NBA manhood. And they've been around this NBA world for a couple of rotations. So they're familiar with the game. They're familiar with their nutrition. They're familiar with the NBA life. They know now how to fit in basketball, make basketball their world with all their other responsibilities. That's what you have when you have a team that's been together going through this journey together. And we're almost primed to drop a superstar in the middle of this recipe. And we may have a Kawhi in Toronto type of situation. We're almost there. But Emmanuel quickly continues to be a filler. I'm going to give to you what we need to make this game successful and to win. So there you have it, my bacon, egg, and cheese of the game. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and Emmanuel Quickley. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Now, let's go to the dollar slice. What's the dollar slice of the game? My dollar slice of the game was Quentin Grimes. Quentin mother flipping Grimes. One thing I used to hate that's been the situation with us for the longest time was watching other teams. When we play other teams, watching when they have a player that you watch and you say, damn, they're going to be a star in a couple of years. Who is that guy? I never heard of him, but he's going crazy right now. Those moments when you're watching the playoffs in the bubble and you see Jamal Murray going back and forth with Donovan Mitchell. And you're like, yo, who are these cats coming out of nowhere but making their name? You make your name in the NBA playoffs. Whatever you do in regular season, it's a passing highlight on ESPN. But you introduce yourself to the world when you show up in the NBA playoffs. That's why it was important for us to make it to the playoffs. It's absolutely important for us. We got the core that we need. We don't need another year where we miss the playoffs. That's the step that we were at last year. This year is the next step. And that means this year is the year that we have to play off. We have to get to the playoffs, and we have to show the world who we got on this team. And we got one in Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes is going to be that player that when we hit the playoffs, he's going to introduce himself to the rest of the NBA. Jalen Brunson in New York is going to be that player that when we hit the playoffs, he's going to reintroduce himself to the NBA. But he may actually bump that status up to star once we hit the NBA. Julius is going to have people, once we hit the playoffs, I'm sorry, I said NBA. Once we hit the playoffs, Julius is going to introduce himself to the NBA as someone that you have to consistently view as an all-star, as a star in this league. But we got to get there. All right? We got to get there. And last night, Quentin Grimes showed that he's going to be an important ingredient to helping us get there. Steady. He's been steady. All right? Last night, he had 14 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. But what he brings is a player that can draw players to him. You can't drop off of him. He is a threat. And the importance in basketball is when I can't leave my assignment, then that opens up the floor. Or when I try to cheat, off of my assignment because I'm going to double Julius, then Grimes, you don't want to leave him outside. You don't want to leave him at the 3-point line. And when you try to close out and take the 3-point line away from you, shoot, he's driving. And when he's been driving to the basket, he's saucy. He's saucy. Saucy. Magic MJ. The passes is beautiful, man. Julius, Quentin, and Jalen. You know, their passing game is on point. The passing game is mid-season form. It's been mid-season form. Yo, he's just so smooth with it. I'm going to drive intentionally under the basket. Just loop this around. And who's been benefiting from it? Mitchell Robinson, Sims, Hartenstein. So not only is he hitting the 3-point line, not only is he pulling the defense into him and away from other stars, giving them opportunities, but he hitting cats off, getting the bigs involved with the passing game. Quentin Grimes is going to announce himself not only this season, but in the playoffs. Just prayers and good wishes for health. Love his game. And we're talking about, man, maybe we need one more superstar, whatever have you. I put the video out in the summertime. The New York Knicks is going to be the next Golden State Warriors by 2024. I said it. It's on film. It's on record. We're going to revisit this thing. Quentin Grimes, I believe, is going to elevate his game to Klay Thomas. I said it. It's on film. And you know I'm going to talk my talk. I'm going to talk my talk when it happens. I'm going to be talking. Cass was mad. Donovan Mitchell is a beast. 71 points. Shout out to that cat. Donovan Mitchell is a beast right now. He's killing the NBA right now. But for some reason, I just don't know if the synergy would be the same if he was on our team. And I know that's revisionist history. I know that's looking at the 3-point, the rear view mirror. I know. You know what I mean? And it's easy for me to say that because he ain't on the team. And it may be a good difference. But I don't know, man. I just love this squad. So shout out to Quentin Grimes, man. I don't want to get caught up on that. Quentin Grimes, you are the dollar slice of the game, my brother. The dollar slice of the game. All right? If you're in the chat, put down who's the dollar slice for you. Who's your bacon, egg, and cheese of the game? Who was those players that stood out? And we can talk about it a little bit. All right? Don't forget, run up the thumbs up. If it's a few of you in there, yo, just put the thumbs up, shout out, show some love to your boy. Show some love to your boy. Okay? Once again, the New York Knicks picked up a good victory last night. All right? Now, may not be talked about. All right? And I know over the past few weeks, Hartenstein has been like, Some people have been like, I could do without him. We could trade him. But I'm telling you, to have Isaiah Hartenstein as one of the bigs. Sometimes he could be slow-footed, yes. Sometimes does he have a second leap? No, he doesn't. Okay? But what he does bring is a player that's going to play hard. You know, every NBA player has 6 fouls. So with that, they're valuable. Okay? But he brings height. He does rebound the basketball. Okay? He's a little bit slow-footed sometimes, but he has a sense around the basket for rebounds. And he has a nice little floater. All right, that you can't ignore. That little floater shot that Isaiah Hartenstein brings to the table, that's going to be key for us when we are looking for some scoring from the 5. All right, that's the dynamic that I love. When you got Mitch and you got Sims, who are bouncy, who are athletic, who are terrorists on the defensive and offensive end and putbacks. They're just strong athletically. You got a nice little, counter, with Hartenstein, who's going to kind of give you that finesse, can hit the outside jump shot occasionally, but he got that nice little floater where it's in his game, and the point guards can kind of set it up, draw the defense in, and then bounce past it to him, and he's going to hit that floater on you. So I just wanted to give some love to Isaiah Hartenstein today. Give some love to Isaiah Hartenstein. He at the point now with Knicks fans where we're kind of like, he don't really pop off the screen. Well, he's good enough in terms of what he contributes. And last night, he contributed 8 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal. He did his job last night. So shout out to the chopped cheese, Isaiah Hartenstein. Okay? Now, you can't have the chopped cheese here in Knicks Deli. You can't have the dollar slice. You can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese if you ain't got nothing to wash it down with. You ain't got nothing to wash it down with. And what you wash it down with here in Knicks Deli is the quarter water. Okay? Who is that player that had either a good quarter or here and there contributed to this game that helped us secure the victory? I want to shout out Jericho mother flipping Sims. Jericho mother flipping Sims. The Denzel Sims. Jericho Sims. Shout out to Jericho Sims. Late round pick. All these cats passing up on these players that we found. Shout out to the New York Knicks and their scouting. Shout out to all those cats who be like, Knicks don't know what they're doing. These front office have vision. Jericho Sims, athletic, bouncy around the basket. Mitchell Robinson got in early foul trouble last night. Couldn't stay on the court. So when you have the 3 center room, those New York Giants we have right here on the New York Knicks roster, Jericho, Isaiah, and Mitch, you're not losing too much. We absolutely have a higher percentage in terms of our win outcome when Mitchell is on the floor. But when you plug in Jericho and Jericho can give you what he gave you last night, 6 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal as well, almost mirroring Hartenstein. Combine those things and you get what Mitch would have put in terms of the output. That's what we need when you come in and you know your role. That's what's needed. Do your job. And those players came in last night and did their job. Jericho Sims came in and did his job. The tape is out on Jericho. And you could tell that the tape is out with Jericho because they don't drive like they used to when we didn't have centers on the team. They don't do that. They don't drive so easily when Jericho is in there. They don't drive in there like that on Mitch. They don't. They sometimes try to test Isaiah because they can get around him. He's a little bit slow-footed. But Mitchell Robinson, what makes him good is that he's able to make up ground when you get blown by. And Jericho has the same quality. And he's young. And he stays getting close to hitting his head on the rim. Jericho Sims and Isaiah Hartenstein is going to help take us far this season, and they're going to help us make some noise in the playoffs. So shout out to Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims, you are the quarter water of the game. All right, now for the Nasa Nah, you wildin' moment of the game. Nasa Nah, you wildin'. And the Nasa Nah, you wildin' moment of the game goes to Mitch Dirk Robinson. I said it, Mitchell Dirk Robinson. This man tried to pull a Dirk Nowitzki one-legged jumper. Last night, Mitchell Robinson was feeling himself. Right? He was feeling himself. And it takes me back to the last game where if you were watching the MSG broadcast, you had Wally Zerbiak, who's I'm a big fan of Wally Zerbiak, who was doing the call, right? And he was watching, I forget who put up a free throw, and it was a straight line. Whether it was a free throw or a 3-point shot, but it was a straight line and it hit the front of the rim. It almost chipped like paint off the front of the rim. And out of nowhere, Wally was like, that looked like one of Mitchell Robinson free throws. And Mike Breed had to almost check him like, yo, how you killing out a guy? You know what I mean? How you take a moment to clown the opposing team's shot, but you use that moment to clown one of our own guys. He was like, oh my God, that looked like one of Mitchell Robinson's free throws. And last night, that one-legged Mitchell Dirk Nowitzki Robinson jump shot was straight line as well, man. I was sitting there dying. The only thing I could think about was Wally Zerbiak. So the NASA Nah moment of the day goes to Mitchell Robinson. Don't do that again, okay? What I love, though, is that he has the green light. If you've watched over the past 15 games, they're sprinkled in some of Tibbs' cooking, okay? Sprinkled in on some of Tibbs' cooking is the Tibbs seasoning. He's giving Mitchell Robinson the green light that if you see a shot for yourself, take it. There was one time he got an and one a few games back because they intentionally dumped the ball into the paint for him. I believe that was against Ayton. And he went up and he got the and one. It's Mitchell Robinson, I think, is being given the freedom now to decide if he is going to take a shot or two as needed. And I think he's ready for that challenge. So I was happy to see that. It's good to get a victory when you have those comical moments, those light moments in the game that you can reflect on and, just enjoy. The team is growing. So let me go to the chat real quick. Shout out to you guys. We got MH saying, let's go Knicks. Let's go. Shout out to you. Happy New Year, MH. Got my man Dan Jones in the chat. The center rotation is solid. I agree. And once again, it's something that we didn't have for a number of years. Sometimes you can take for granted what you have. There's no true statement in that. Sometimes you can really take for granted what you have because you may see from afar some things that are just outstanding, that it just looks so fun on the other side. But you don't realize that they had their own process to get to where they are. And there's some teams that are looking at us that are far beyond where we are. You know what I mean? So, our center position, we are rich at the center position right now. Solid. And Dan Jones also says Sims is a freaking beast. I would play him over iHeart. I think we're almost getting there. Where we're going to start seeing with a little bit more chemistry, because he also has ball handling skills. We're starting to see him bring up the ball comfortably now over half court. You see training videos in the summertime where he's handling the ball. He's doing ball handling drills. All right. So I think we're going to see Tibbs get to the point. Once we get back, I don't know, when Obi returns, he might take away minutes from either Hartenstein or Jericho. That's going to be the critical piece. Who gets minutes taken away when Toppin gets back to health? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. And it may very well be Hartenstein. iHeart may have minutes taken away if Jericho continues to play and contribute at the rate that he's doing. He may be the one. So I think you're right. With that. All right. So we're at this point, man. It was a great win. I know some people are looking at it and saying, we barely won this game. I got news for you. At the end of the season, when our final record is whatever it's going to be, nobody looks at it and say, well, of these 45 wins, 10 of those was by 1 point or less. Nobody looks at that. All right. A victory is a victory, and then you move on. If we look at the Nets win streak, I'm sure you can go in their record and see some of the games where they barely eked out a victory, or one or two was by 1 point or shooting free throws. If you remember a number of years back, the Miami Heat had like a 20. Did they have like is 27 too much? Did they have like a 20 plus win streak? A game with like 20 or so. Stupid. But nobody remembers the margin of victory that they had. They remember that overall number. And right now, we are back at 3 in a row. All we need is to start stringing together some of these victories. That's all we need. Let's stay the course, focus one game at a time, and string together victories. Get healthy and string together victories. Julius Randle is showing out. Jalen Brunson is showing out. The New York Knicks are showing out. And this victory last night was an example of it. All right. So didn't want to take up too much more of the time, but I'm loving it. Our Knicks are back, and Toronto, you're next. Toronto, you're next on the revenge tour. Because that Siakam stuff was BS. And you know we're going to have victory on our mind. We're going to have revenge on our minds. Crazy, crazy. All right, so what say you, Knicks Nation? You looking forward to this Toronto game? Will we make it 4 in a row and keep rolling? Will we make it 4 in a row? Don't forget, same thing applies to our lives as applies to our team. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. The New York Knicks are here, and we got next. Shit, brilliant Knicks. I'm out. Subscribe, like the video.
Victory. I just got another victory. Opposition said they sick of me. We turn their future to history. They try to hit me, they missing me. Ooh, they in the way. They getting stepped on back in the day. We who they slept on. You see my place. It's never.
Peace.